Listen now, children of the sun, and let the embers of this fire warm a tale of a boy, a king, and a creeping darkness born of ambition. This is not a story of swords and shields, but of a quiet courage that ran deeper than any river. In the village of Ojaile, nestled deep in the heart of the Nigerian rainforest, lived a young man named Kailo. His hands, lean and calloused, not from a warrior's blade but from a weaver's shuttle, were his greatest tool. He was a creator, a maker of intricate fabrics that told stories in their threads. But Kailo was also a seer. He possessed the gift, passed down through his family, of sensing discord in the weave of the world itself. He wore a small hand-carved wooden bird amulet around his neck, a symbol of his family's craft and a silent reminder of the stories his fingers told. One full moon, as the nocturnal chorus of the rainforest began its song, Kailo knelt at the edge of his sleeping village. In the palm of his hand, he held a single, iridescent serpent scale. It was the scale of the great serpent, the mythical creature said to protect the life-giving waters of the realm. But this scale was not found in the river. It had been left at the village's sacred spring, and its shimmer was wrong, a cold, unnatural light. Kailo knew its origin. Oba Eshudaji, the king in the far city of Adura, had begun to drain the serpent's power for his own malevolent magic. The natural balance was unraveling, and Kailo, seeing the faint, shadowy tear in the world's fabric, knew he had to act. With his hand gripping the strap of a simple travel satchel, he began a secret journey to save the land. His first trial came at a dusty crossroads under the shade of a massive baobab tree. There, he met the Anansi trickster. The man was a colorful patchwork of fabrics and smiles, holding out a piece of ripe fruit as an offering. "Greetings, young traveler," he said, his eyes twinkling with mischievous glee. "You seek a path to Adora, yes? I know the way, but first a simple game. Tell me the truth of what you seek, and I shall guide you." Kailo, remembering the wisdom of the elders, did not lie, but neither did he reveal his entire purpose. He spoke only of the need for balance. The trickster's smile widened as his shadow twisted into the shape of a spider on the ground. He had a hidden agenda, but the partial truth was enough to satisfy him. He pointed Kailo to a path, and then, with a flourish, disappeared into the dust. The path led to the whispering mangrove, a swamp of twisted roots and thick mist. It was here that Kailo found Amara, a warrior with a presence as formidable as the swamp itself. Her sun-weathered dark skin bore faint scars, and her eyes, sharp and piercing, watched him with deep suspicion. She leaned against a mangrove root, a well-used spear held loosely in her hand. "The king's agents patrol this land. What business does a weaver have here?" Kailo explained his mission, showing her the cold serpent scale. Amara, a protector of the land, recognized the taint on the artifact. She had been fighting the king's influence for years and saw in Kailo a different kind of strength, one she could respect. She saw the unwavering purpose in his eyes. Without another word, she became his guide. Together they reached the Iroko River, a body of water long feared for the primordial power it held. At dusk, as the sun bled into the horizon, the ancient river spirit of Iroko rose from the deep, murky water. Her form was a semi-translucent being of flowing water and mist, her hair like dark river weeds. Her watery arms were outstretched, blocking their passage. Her eyes, glowing with a soft, otherworldly light, were impassive. Amara raised her spear, but Kailo stopped her. He stepped forward and spoke not of battle, but of balance, of the broken weave of the world. He spoke of the king's greed and the sickness that was infecting the land. The spirit, a force of nature, listened to his pure intent, and, as his words resonated with the river, her form receded, allowing them to cross. Finally, they stood at the gates of Adura, the city of the king. The throne room was lit by an airy, unnatural glow, and faint magical glyphs pulsed on the stone walls. Seated on a massive throne carved from dark ebony was Oba Eshudaji, a charismatic and imposing king in lavish agbada robes of deep indigo embroidered with gold. His sharp, calculating eyes gleamed with malevolent intelligence. One hand rested on his throne, while the other gestured subtly, causing a faint, shadowy energy to swell around him. He smiled a faint, knowing smile as he spoke. "You come, a simple weaver, to unravel my destiny. The power of the serpent is now mine." Kylo knew he could not defeat the king with a weapon. Instead, he reached into his satchel and pulled out a simple thread he had woven from the plants of Ujaile, imbued with the light and life of his village. As the king's shadowy magic lunged forward, Kylo began to weave. With a motion as old as time, he wove the simple thread into the air, creating a counter pattern to the king's magical glyphs. The king's power was a knot of ambition and stolen energy. Kylo's weave was a pattern of balance and life. The magical glyphs on the walls flickered, and the airy glow in the room began to fade. Kylo was not fighting the king's magic, he was reweaving the reality it had warped. The king's supreme confidence faltered, replaced by a look of bewildered rage as his power unraveled before his eyes. And so, Kylo, the quiet weaver, did what no warrior could. He didn't slay the king, he simply undid him. He restored the balance not with a show of force, but with a whisper of truth and the steady hands of a craftsman. He returned to Ujaile, no longer just a weaver of cloth, but a weaver of destiny, a guardian of the world's delicate weave.